Today, we're diving into some of the most common pregnancy myths that just won't quit. These myths might be making you second guess what you should be doing during your pregnancy. But don't worry, because I have evidence-based science to set the record straight. So stick around, because in this video, not only will we be busting common pregnancy myths, but I'll also give you 3 top takeaways for you to have a more empowered pregnancy. Are you ready to bust the myths? If so, let's go. All right, so let's go ahead and jump right into those myths. You know, the ones that make you second guess everything you thought you knew? Yeah, those. Let's go ahead and start with myth number 1. You're eating for 2. Okay, so while it is important that you do take in extra calories, it's a lot less than what you probably think. In the first trimester, you don't need to take in any extra calories. The second trimester, the recommendation states that you should take in about 300 extra calories per day. And the third trimester, that number rises to about 450 extra calories per day. But the key thing to remember is that you're not doubling your intake in calories. You're not eating for a whole nother person. Instead, it's important to remember that you're really only taking in enough extra calories to support the growth of your baby's growth and development. Okay, so next up is myth number 2, the no heavy lifting myth. Now, once you become pregnant, most people say that you should avoid lifting anything heavier than a feather. But is that really true though? I'm so glad you asked, because the truth is you do need to be careful with your body. However, it is usually safe to lift heavier objects as long as you're paying attention to your form. In this case, it's more about listening to your body. You really want to be careful to avoid any jerky or sudden movements. As a matter of fact, if something feels too heavy, then you should probably stop and ask for help. With that being said, don't feel like you need to live in a bubble. Your body can still handle a lot if you're being mindful. Okay, next up is myth number 3. Avoid caffeine and alcohol completely. Okay, so let's break this apart. Let's talk about alcohol first. It is important to stop all consumption of alcohol during pregnancy due to a condition called fetal alcohol syndrome. This can affect the baby tremendously, and so alcohol is an absolute no-no. However, caffeine is more of a gray area. A small cup of coffee or tea every day is usually okay for most women. The key here is really to stick with moderation. Too much caffeine can be linked to things like preterm birth, but a little is generally considered to be safe. Okay, as promised, let's talk about a couple tips that you can take away to help you feel more empowered and confident during your pregnancy. The first tip I have is, I'm sure you could probably guess it if you've watched any of my other videos, but in case you haven't, the first tip I have for you is hydration. I cannot stress this enough. So you might be wondering, well, why is hydration so important? Water is important because it supports your increased blood volume, which you have now that you're pregnant. It also helps to prevent constipation and can even help to reduce swelling. Now, on the opposite end, dehydration can cause things like headaches, cramping, and fatigue. So aim to drink about 8 to 10 cups every day. And whenever you're feeling thirsty, feel free to drink up. All right, next up is your mental health. Pregnancy is a roller coaster, and so it's perfectly normal to feel up and down and, quite frankly, all over the place. With that said, it's important to prioritize your mental health. Stress and anxiety can really affect your pregnancy. So make time for relaxation. That could look like anything from meditation, prayer, prenatal stretches, or simply taking a quiet walk. And remember, don't be afraid to ask for support when you need it. All right, let's talk prenatal vitamins. The key vitamins that you want to look for should include things like folic acid, iron, calcium, and DHA. Folic acid helps to prevent neural defects, while iron helps to support that increased blood volume. Calcium, of course, supports the growth of your baby and your bones, both of you. And DHA is crucial for brain development. It's best to take them consistently, so that may look like taking them in the morning every day, or perhaps you take it at night. But whenever you choose to take them, try to stick closely to that schedule, just because this helps to establish a habit and routine so that you don't forget. And always check with your doctor to make sure that you're taking the right prenatal vitamins for you. Okay, so I thought today would be a great time to just address some FAQs that I get often in my email and DM. The first one I want to tackle is about morning sickness. A lot of people ask tons of questions about morning sickness, or they'll just comment that they're having a lot of morning sickness with the symptoms. Morning sickness is very common and it's very normal, but it doesn't have to make you miserable. So be mindful to eat small, frequent meals. I recommend to keep crackers at your bedside. Sometimes it's good to even have 1 or 2 crackers before you even get out of bed in the morning, just to have something on your stomach. You can also try things like ginger or peppermint and things with lemon. All of these things have been known to help ease some of that feeling of nausea. Now, remember, if your symptoms are severe, if you're having severe nausea, severe vomiting without being able to get little to no relief, then it's best for you to reach out to your provider for help. Okay, so another question that I get a lot about is, how can I prepare for labor? And my response is, the best way to prepare for labor is both mentally and physically. I encourage all moms to take a childbirth class, especially my first-time moms. This will help you learn about the stages of labor and breathing techniques. It's also helpful to have a birth plan, but remember to stay flexible because things may not necessarily go exactly as planned. The best way to increase your chances of having a positive birth experience is to be prepared. And the best way to be prepared is to learn and take classes before you give birth. Now, it's no secret that that is exactly what we do here at Birth Prep Academy. So if you are looking to take a deeper dive to start preparing for birth, whether it's the actual preparation of getting your home together and getting a birth plan together, or if you're interested in that childbirth class or breastfeeding class, then they're all available right here for you. Just check the link in the description below. Another question I get is, well, what can I do to ensure a healthy pregnancy? And the number one thing that comes top of mind is to stay active. Now, when I say stay active, it's still important to listen to your body. And when it comes to having a healthy pregnancy, it's also important to eat well by having balanced nutrition. It's important to get enough sleep and to attend all of your prenatal appointments. And don't forget, ask for help when you need it. Your health and well-being are a top priority. If there's one thing I want you to take away from today, it's this. Don't let myths and misinformation overrule your pregnancy. I want you to be informed. I want you to ask questions. I want you to learn everything you can from a trusted source. And I want you to trust your body. If you're ready to dive deeper into your pregnancy, be sure to check out the resources in the description box below for even more support. And check out the playlist here to follow my week-by-week pregnancy guide. I've got more pregnancy tips and breastfeeding hacks coming your way. So stay tuned. And until next time, I'll see you in the next video.